Hi there everyone, Josiah here with Womprat Creations with this week's show and tell. And I've told you guys before that I am rapidly running out of stuff that I've made that you guys haven't watched me make to show you. But I have one last thing that I'm gonna milk for all I can. Now, I have one last big thing that I think will be better appreciated in its parts. And that is, I have a full Boba Fett Return of the Jedi cosplay that I built. That is the first thing that I did as a maker. And I mean, it brought me into making. And oh my God, that is an undertaking. I chose a hell of a project to kick off making, and I learned a lot. And looking back at some of the pieces now, it's like, why would you do that? But regardless, any Boba Fett, no matter what costume you're replicating, whether it's Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, there's Special Edition, I mean, there's all kinds of variants. But there are so many pieces that go into a accurate Boba Fett costume that I feel like I want to go through them piece by piece, because I think it will help people appreciate the amount of stuff that goes into a project like that. And so I figured for my Boba Fett costume, while I've shown you guys my helmet and my jetpack, now that I'm going to be going through the whole costume, I want to start from the ground up. And of course that means we're starting with boots. And these are my Boba Fett boots. And they're a little funky. I mean, this is definitely not something that you're going to find at the store down the street. These I picked up from Imperial Boots. They do much more than boots. They have all kinds of Star Wars costume pieces, and they have really great quality stuff. These are their Fett boots, and they came as just a, you can kind of see some of the original color here. They came as this very light gray, with these black elastic bands in the middle, and then these black leather ribs that go from the top all the way down to the sole in the front. And the whole thing was just this really light gray, which is a great base. Then I went through and darkened up this middle stripe to more accurately portray Boba's boot in Return of the Jedi. And then I just did a whole lot of misting over the whole boot to make it look real dirty. I got the fabric a little wet, and then used some spray paint from a distance and just kind of did a couple mistings of a couple different colors. And while I would have done this a little differently if I were going to do it today, this is not bad. I'm not upset with how this turned out. You will also notice that on the front there's these spikes. Careful watchers of Star Wars will know that Boba Fett has spikes on the end of his boot. But I mean, I love Star Wars, and until I set out to make this costume, I had no idea Boba Fett had metal spikes on the ends of his boots. I mean, that's the little kind of detail that I'm talking about. This is why I wanted to go through this whole cosplay in pieces, so that the little things that you might not notice watching the movie, even if you're a real fan, some of these little details get away from you, and it kind of makes you appreciate the amount of detail that goes into creating a costume like this and the thinking that goes behind it. I mean, when I found this out, Fett just took on such a, I don't want to say meaner, but I mean, it took on a whole different character almost. I mean, this is a guy who from head to toe is armed and ready to go. I mean, these spikes, I believe, also came from Imperial boots with the boots. I installed them on the boot myself, and they're real metal. They're solid. So if I kick someone with these, it'd be a bad day. Don't worry, I'm not kicking anyone with these. But I really love the design of these boots. They're a little funky. They have these elastic bands so that you just kind of slip your foot in, and it has a really cool profile, especially with the jumpsuit, the flight suit that we'll get into later, with the bloused pants. I mean, this makes a really cool silhouette of that region of the body. I don't know. It's a cool looking boot. It's different. It's a little bit square on the front, which is, I mean, it's just so different from anything that you're gonna find in your local shoe store. Granted, I wouldn't want to be walking down the street with these. They're not really, it'd look a little funny, but I like these boots. They're cool. And while I could have done a better weathering job for this being part of my first making project ever, I mean, they're not bad. They're not bad. Could use a little bit of tonal difference, but they're not bad. And they're the boot. I mean, when you guys are watching Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, you're not necessarily looking at Boba Fett's boots. So even when you're wearing the costume, no one's really looking at your boots. But now you might. But thank you guys for tuning in for this week's show and tell. And yes, we will end on a shot of me wearing these boots, because that's exciting, right? Bye, guys. Hey, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it. That lets you know every time that we come out with a video so that you don't miss a thing, and it really helps us out with keeping the lights on over here. Thanks, guys.
517 to scanner control. 517 to scanner control. 316, report to control. 53 to upper bay door. 53 to upper bay door.